Ladies and gentlemen, well, they say men are good at playing games, but our guest today is good at making the games. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Young Business Show with Ndegwa Power, aka the business guy, where it's all about entrepreneurs who are changing perceptions, challenging the status quo, and breaking the rules of the conventional business. And today's show has an amazing guy, man. This guy is barely 21. He's a university student, and he's already defining the gaming industry in Africa. How much is it worth again?
The gaming industry in Africa is 31 billion.
It's worth 31
million.
$31 million.
Yeah.
So that's about
3.1
billion Kenyan shillings, and he wants a share of all of it.
All of it.
Well, I mean, entrepreneurship is all about ambition. Welcome to the show, Ivan Skiragu. Tell us about Mekan Games.
Mekan Games is basically a video game development company in Kenya that started about a year ago. Yeah, we currently have one game on the Play Store, and we are planning to release one tomorrow.
Wait, what's the game? Wings of Fury?
Yeah,
it's the one that I was playing.
Fury. Yeah, the ones that you were playing about the planes and stuff, shooting. That
but
was
then I failed miserably, yeah.
But that was Wings of Fury, and tomorrow we launch a game that's on a genre of its own. It's called Craving Carrots.
Craving Carrots. How exactly does it work? Okay, I know we are going to go to a clip of how it works and all, but what's the inspiration behind Craving Carrots?
Basically, the storyline is pretty simple. The World Health Organization, in its attempts to end world hunger, they have developed a carrot that feeds thousands, not just the normal carrots you have on the fridges. This is a super carrot that feeds thousands of people. But obviously being...
By the WHO?
Yeah,
okay,
but being obviously genetically altered, it has some side effects. And so the bad guys, we always have bad guys in video games, yeah? And so the bad guys, having realized that, decide to take the carrots, feed them to a large group of people, and have them as their military, as their bad guys, you know, so that they can take over the world. I mean, when you take these carrots, you mutate and you become like this supreme being. So you can imagine having an army of such guys. And so the WHO have recalled back all the carrots, and they're being held somewhere, protected. They're being protected by them. And so you as the player have been assigned with the task of protecting these carrots. And so the bad guys are sending ninjas to come and take the carrots. And so that's basically the gameplay. Yeah.
Wait, you were inspired by the World Health Organization in terms of their fight against hunger, and you created a game out of that. How cool is that?
I'd say that when you were starting, the main agenda was really just creating a game that's simple. Simple, hasn't been done before, and one that's involved. I mean, you've played the game.
Yeah.
You literally have to be there. You cannot move, because when you're killing a ninja on this end, there's one checking on the other end. So a game that's mind-involving, that will keep you hooked for a couple of hours. Yeah.
I just want to bring a concern that probably if I tell any other, person out there, Kenyan, that we are trying to create games for Kenyans, how local do you make your games? Because when you want to feel like, I'm not playing FIFA from the, I'm playing a game from Kenya. Yeah. How do you make it feel local?
We really don't focus on that. I'll tell you why. You see, we're making video games, yeah? I mean, it's a talent.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're trying to make a business out of it. And I'll be honest with you right now and tell you that the Kenyan gaming industry is not as developed. We don't have guys who go searching for Kenyan games. Likewise, we don't have guys going searching for Kenyan movies and stuff. And so when you focus all your efforts on an industry that's not yet developed, and you have a global industry of 111 billion US dollars, you see, you're sort of like putting all your eggs in one basket. Yeah. Maybe I make a game about Alex who runs a marathon. You see, you'll be interested in it and you'll talk about it to your friends and guys. Yeah.
I can run.
Yeah. You're going to talk about it to your friends and stuff, but you'll only go as far as the interest is in Kenya.
But what's the problem? Because you're saying the gaming industry isn't as deep. What's the problem? What's the issue?
I think generally just Kenyans, we're not as appreciative of our content. I mean, let's even go to the music industry.
Are people creating games that are so good that as a Kenyan I'd want to play that game? Yeah. Or is it that I am the problem?
I tend to think that it's we as a problem. We don't appreciate ourselves.
It's we as a problem.
Me, you, basically everyone. I mean, we need to get to a point where you get something that's done by a Kenyan and you take it and you like own it. You say, this is Kenyan, I'm proud to be Kenyan. The way we do to our athletes, you know. Like when Yego wins some gold medal, you'll find him on my WhatsApp, you'll find him on Twitter, because we are proud of it. So if you take our music, our gaming, our movies to that extent, I think we'll be somewhere that's profitable.
But are there also developers? Because I think you're the only developer, a game developer that I know. I haven't seen, okay, apart from the Bungoma man.
The Bungoma guys are called Mesmerized Games. They're really good at it too. Though, in a way, they decided to really embrace the Kenyan culture, which is really nice. But all in all, together, we are working towards building up this industry. We are working to make this industry reach its potential. The 31, it's 31, but you never know.
No, I really want to know, where is this $31 million valuation for the game?
Let me just do a bit of math for you.
Okay,
we say that the youth in Kenya, aged between, let me say the guys who play video games, aged between 5 to 35.
Are we talking when you're talking about video? Are you talking about it as a whole, both mobile and desktop?
No, I'm talking about mobile specifically, because the statistics trickle down to the mobile bit of it.
Okay.
So the mobile industry, aged between 5 and 35 years old, enter Matatu right now and look, just stand at the front and look at people who are there. Personally, I studied in JQuad, so when you enter Matatu and you just look, no one is looking at you, everyone is on the phone. And that's the age bracket.
I saw a driver driving while playing Candy Crush the other day by the near railways.
Okay, that's dangerous. But
because it was in traffic and it's just they're busy.
Okay, so that's 5 to 35 years old, and it said that the Kenyan youth, the population occupies around 67% of the Kenyan population. Okay, that's 67% aside. Take into account the number of guys that have Android devices, basically smartphones. Yeah. At the moment, Africa is at the front bit of that incline in the mobile industry.
Of smartphones, yeah?
Exactly. Take the Kenyan chunk of that, put it aside, merge it to the 67%, and you'll find that the number of guys who are investing their money in mobile phones and smartphones and all the rest, like almost, I'd say, roughly maybe 80% is the youth. And these guys are the ones that play video games.
Yeah.
And so that's how I think they did the math.
Oh, the valuation,
the evaluation, a bit of statistics and that. So 31 billion is the potential. It might be higher, it might be lower. But on its own, it's really a huge figure.
Wings of Fury, your first game. How did you start?
We started...
And I want to know whether did you need any capital? What kind of training did you have to go through for you to be able to now, like, sit down, let's create this game? You know, and also finding a team. Because I presume you don't work alone and all.
Let me start with the team.
Okay.
I don't work alone. I have a team of 7 people.
Okay. Developers,
marketers, and the PR. We handle Mekan Games as it is. So we started last year on 10th of July. This is when we launched Mekan Games. But we didn't even have a game. So we wanted to create a game that would market us.
So you are playing games with your market because you didn't have a game yet.
We knew we had the potential of making video games.
Okay.
So why not launch the company, then create a product? That's what we wanted to do. And I knew developing a video game that will be ready for the Kenyan market, which is full of criticism, let me just be honest, will require a team. So I did the launch then, formed the team. So the team is made up of 7. So we started collecting ideas, gathering guys, which idea do you have? And so we had the basic idea of Wings of Fury, but back then it was called Marsabit Wars.
Marsabit Wars.
Yeah. And so we had a lot of conflict with guys. Like we'd go at iHub and give the guys the game and it'd be like, Marsabit Wars, really? That's not illegal or something? I mean, you're basically marketing Marsabit as a war.
As a war zone,
yeah. So we had to change, we had to pivot the idea. And
it's a PR nightmare by the way.
I mean, personally, as the CEO, I did not know that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had to get feedback from guys. If it was up to me, that game would be called
Marsabit Wars.
Yeah. So I got feedback from guys. Yeah, maybe right now it'd be somewhere locked up. You never know. So after that, we finished the game, and about 3 weeks before launch is when we finally agreed on Wings of Fury as the name.
As the name, yeah.
Yeah. Challenges. There are a lot.
What's the biggest challenge?
Copyright issues.
Copyright issues.
Yeah. Because you can imagine you're a team of 7, yeah? You're basically not everyone. What goes into making a video game is the sound bit of it, the programming bit of it, the design bit of it. Those are like the 3 major pillars. Personally, I'm a developer, so I'll handle the programming, yeah? I'm also an animator, I'll handle that. We have a designer in the team, he'll handle that. But we don't have a sound person. So where are you going to get the sound? Somewhere on the internet, yeah? And so that's what we did.
Yeah.
We went to got the sound from the internet, we put it in the game, it was all good. We had done our research well, trying to get sounds that are not really that out there.
Yeah.
And so 2 weeks to the release was to be on 23rd October. It's when we realized that if this thing goes any bigger than we expect, it actually crosses the boundary, which the Kenyan boundary, which it did actually, we'll be in big trouble. And so we sat down, removed all the music in the game.
And then now found now the local ones and all.
And you can see that gap between 23rd October to 21st November, which is when you launch. That's like an entire month.
Yeah.
Yeah, and imagine you are told your fans to wait for a game. You are told the press to wait for a game.
Yeah.
You're like, it can't come out right now. And no one wants to hear why it's not coming out.
It's true. Nobody wants to hear the excuses. Yeah.
You don't want to know if it's copyright or anything. So that was our biggest challenge. But we approached the local artists. Another challenge with the Kenyan industry is, I don't know if it's like we don't want to see others grow, because the artists that we are approaching, they'd be like, oh, you want to use my music? Amazing, that's nice marketing for me. How much are you willing to pay for it? I mean, you are a startup. You do not have any capital with you.
So it's also, there's so much about people learning about collaboration and how to really work together to achieve a bigger.
I mean, if an artist had allowed us to use his music right now, back then, the Wings of Fear really sold in Nigeria. We have about 25,000 downloads in Nigeria. I mean, they'd be big in Nigeria in some sort of way. Yeah. But right now, can I call it pride in some way? Yeah. Due to that,
called as it is.
It is that, and at the moment they're not where they should have been. And right now we have guys approaching us and being like, I have a new track.
I have this and this. But despite all this, as we wind up, because I can see my director trying to.
Yeah.
What keeps you going? That, you know what I mean? Because the industry is not as big as it should be.
Yeah.
It's still so far away from development and all these other. You're not able to collaborate with people. There's too much criticism for this particular industry. But what keeps you and your team going to make this thing a success? And
I'd say maybe only two things. Personally, for me, I don't know about my team. Maybe it's the money or anything. But number one, I'd say that, as you've seen the statistics, the number of smartphones is like really high. And so at the end of the day, someone who has been on the phone has been on WhatsApp the whole day. He has been calling people the whole day. He has been texting the whole day. At the end of the day, that phone will need something else to like run, And that will be video games. That's video games. And basically just trying to tell the African stories through video games. Right now, we're not majorly focusing on African stories because we're trying to upbring this industry. When it's where we need it to be, then we'll tell people about a great, maybe Jomo Kenyatta or someone. Yeah, just trying to educate people through video games.
Sawa. Well, thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thank you.
I wish I'm going to have you next time. As you talk about craving carrots, let's find out how many people are eating and craving the carrots and all. So thank you so much for coming to the show. Well, ladies and gentlemen, how do you play? Well, this guy, man, I think the major takeaway is we need to appreciate our local stuff. We need to appreciate what our people are doing, our young entrepreneurs are creating every day. Because it takes boldness, it takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of confidence to decide to go out and build something. Ladies and gentlemen, Ivan Skirago, CEO and founder of Mekan Games, changing the gaming industry, and he wants the bigger share of the $31 million industry. Well, it's all about entrepreneurs who are changing perceptions, challenging the status quo, and breaking the rules of conventional business. This is the Young Business Show, and it's Ndegu Power, as you know, aka the business guy. Sawa, tutaonana baadaye.